What is going on YouTube? It's Amaterasu Ninja, your favorite weeb ninja on YouTube, and we're gonna review another anime today for you guys, and it's JUJUTSU Kaisen as promised. As yesterday I didn't make it because I decided to make Rurouni Kenshin, and boy am I glad that I did, because this episode had there's only so much that I can write about, and I even have to leave off the ending scene, which is with Megumin, and we'll just get into that later on. But essentially, there was so much to unpack. There was so much detail, so much things they talked about. Not too much action, but it was enjoyable in this episode. But with that being said, let's just get into it and roll the intro. Alright, with my belly full and my hunger satisfied, I can finally finish this video with some enthusiasm as we start off episode 5 with a year time skip to the year 2007. What the fuck was that? Anyways, Gojo is working on improving his repel ability, which is his limitless technique. Shoko ends up mentioning that if he keeps using the curse technique, he could essentially end up frying his brain, to which Gojo replies, by him using the curse technique on himself, he's essentially being able to repair his own brain if it gets damaged enough, or constantly repair it. So he ends up working with a new fresh brain, essentially just healing his own brain and repairing it so that it doesn't get to that point, thus letting him use the limitless curse technique whenever he wants, essentially, or just keep it on 24/7. Gojo then mentions that he essentially mastered his technique, seemingly being able to switch through red technique and blue technique as fast as he wants, and the only thing left to do is basically improve his domain expansion or learn it, and essentially to teleport things way faster and further away. Nagoro at this point is shown to be tired and exhausted, and explains that he's been going on a lot more missions constantly and by himself, as Gojo is again shown to be getting stronger, so strong in fact that he's actually able to do all missions by himself without any help, and which is why he's going on alone. And Shoko never being in any missions, essentially because she's such a valuable member and she's a medic, to which we cut again to another scene, and Geto is basically being stuck in a mindless routine where he's always killing and eating curses again to get their technique, which is why he has to eat them. And then he essentially says that nobody understands how nasty and vile it is to eat these curses, to which he starts remembering about everything with Rico, and then explains that eating the curse is essentially like eating a rag that's been used to clean up a bunch of poop, essentially, and vomit. And at this point we see him in the showers, to where he says to himself that he's been lying to himself for a whole year, stating that he understood humanity's ugliness and their weakness, choosing to remain a sorcerer to save others, but him realizing that that's really not the case. And at this point he starts losing his mind in silence as he takes a shower, in the droplets of water raining down from the shower essentially reminds him of all the claps that he heard again from the last episode, where Rico is essentially dead and they're all just clapping. And again, at this point he ends up calling humans monkeys for the first time, as he picked it up from Toji in the last episode. After the shower, Haibara and Geto have a little chat where Geto asks his opinion on being a sorcerer. He responds saying, I don't really think too deeply into stuff, I'm just glad that I'm able to help when I can. And then in comes a special grade sorcerer named Yuki, and essentially shows up, Haibara greeting her, saying that he's a good judge of character, to which Geto responds is, while you're sitting next to me, end quote. Haibara ends up leaving the two alone, to which Yuki starts to introduce herself, Geto explaining that she's the good-for-nothing sorcerer who ends up not accepting any of her jobs and ends up traveling abroad. Yuki then explains her plan to stop curses from manifesting, which is 1, eliminate cursed energy from mankind, 2, to make it so that everyone has control over their cursed energy. The first thought came around because she observed Toji, as he had 0 cursed energy while still being able to sense the curses. Toji also having a great resistance to curses because of the heavenly pact that he had, which essentially took away all his cursed energy, but able to make him become way stronger and basically do a bunch of stuff that other people can't, as there's another character in the first season who also has a heavenly pact, but his skin is so fragile that he can't leave, and he is bedridden in this dark solitary room where it's super dark because his skin is so fragile that he'll literally bleed if he stands out even in the moonlight, his skin being so fragile. To which, again, he has to manipulate a puppet to basically walk out there in the real world where he sees through that puppet's eyes. And essentially, because of the Heavenly Pact, he's limited to the things that he can do, and it's different for everyone. While all this is happening, there's a flashback scene in the background as Geto remembers everything that happened in the past year involving Riko and just before she died. Yuki telling Geto to not be ashamed as he is a superhuman, that being Toji. Yuki then tells Goro not to be ashamed as he lost to a superhuman, that being Toji. Geto letting it slip that what if he kills all the non-sorcerers in the world. Yuki saying that it could force everyone to evolve due to the fear of them being dead, of course, by Geto's hands. Geto, again struggling to accept humanity's ugliness and weakness, still remembers the collapse of the Star Religious Group from the last episode as it begins to rain, again morphing into the collapse of the Star Religious Group. Habare is then shown to be killed in the next following scene, and his last mission was a threat that was so much worse than they originally thought. Geto realizing that all there is, or all that there will be, is more comrades fallen due to them fighting the curses. Geto is then shown to have killed everyone in the village as he snaps due to the adults seemingly locking up and abusing two children or two girls, and they're essentially locked in the cage, to which they end up blaming them for the incidents of all the spiritual stuff that has been going on, essentially calling them monsters, not realizing that they are the cause of their own demise, essentially manifesting those curses because of the evil thoughts and bringing out more negativity into the world, thus creating more curses for the sorcerers to deal with. Gojo is told about the killings that occurred in the town and is angered that his friend would do such a thing. Even Geto, again killing his own parents. Gojo is then confronts Geto about his plan after receiving a call from Shoko, which they're in Shinjuku. Geto, as he leaves, departs with a message saying, "Are you the strongest because you're Satoru Gojo, or does being the strongest make you Satoru Gojo?" Gojo, seemingly angered by this, looks like he's about to use his purple technique, but chooses not to, as it would essentially kill everyone around them. Gojo left wondering if he is truly strong enough, and claims that maybe it's not enough to save those that don't want to be saved. In the next scene, we come back to Geto as he's taking over the Star Religious Group, to where we also see the two little girls that he had saved, who were basically abused and locked up in the cage. The Star Religious Group opposes him as leader, as he uses someone as an example, ends up killing him right on stage, and essentially uses fear to take control over the Star Religious Group. In the next shot, we also get another shot of Megumin, who is Toji's son. So at which point we see him asking why the hell he's making this stupid face, and Gojo is seemingly thinking to himself, he looks exactly like Toji. And essentially they have an exposition dump where he's going over what his plans are going to be, him being sold off to a Senin clan, which essentially is going to use his power to their own benefit, and he's trying to avoid that, trying to convince him to basically come to him, to which essentially there's a younger girl, I'm not sure if it's a sister or just somebody that he lives with, but essentially he wants to make the best outcome that would benefit her the most, and not, leave her behind to where she's depressed and sad. I'm not sure if it's her sister. I think it is, because they do mention that in the first season. But that is going to be the end of this video, and I want to know your guys' thoughts. Leave your comments down below. What do you guys think about this? The animation on this episode was incredibly amazing. It felt like I was watching a movie, like an animated movie. It wasn't just like your typical normal anime episodes. Even the facial animations, the way they were expressed, the way they were animated, and you see every little detail, every little frame of how they move, just making it as smooth as possible. Again, it was just mind-blowing to me. It was kind of a mind-bender. And let me know your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen? If you already watched the manga, read the manga, then try not to spoil it. But again, any little detail or further insight would be greatly appreciated. What did I do in this video? And if you have any thoughts, leave it down below. Follow me on Twitch, Amaterasu Ninja, same name. We'll be streaming there a lot more lately. And yeah, again, with that being said, I'll be guys today. You lovely fucking nerds, follow me. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the noti bell again, so you don't forget don't miss out on the next video when it comes out. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. As always, peace out. Peace.